Welcome back. You're with us here on Opening Moves. 8 points off on the Nifty. We're close to about 5 market in just a bit. Let me get in the management at REC to talk about some fundraising that they're embarking on once again. Dr. J.M. Pathak is chairman at the company. He joins in right now to chat about that and more. Sir, good morning. Great having you with us here on the show. Prashant this side.
Yeah, good
Beg your
morning.
pardon. You raised about $500 million earlier, sir. You're planning to raise another $250 million. Is that correct?
Yes, that way we are tentatively planned to raise $1 billion from international market, because the corporate bond market in US currency or international currency from India is very small. So till last year we were borrowing, or we had borrowed only 3% of our total disbursements from abroad. But the current year has been very favorable, and we have already raised $470 million from the Japanese bank, Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, and State Bank of India from the East Asian markets. So this is now another 500 million bond, which in US dollars, raised from Singapore, Hong Kong and London. Maybe we'll raise another 200 to 250 million. It could be an ECB rather than a bond. This will be before the end of this financial year.
So right now, the US dollar bond issue that you're planning to launch in the offshore market is for $500 million. Is that correct?
Yes, it is $500 million. The bonds have been already sold at a fixed coupon of 4.25%, which is lowest ever from an Indian issuer.
5.25%. And you said you will, after this, you'll look to raise another $200 million.
No. Excuse me. It is fixed coupon of 4.25% with a spread of 250 basis points over US treasuries, which was the tight end of the initial guidance of 250 to 260 basis points range. But in view of the almost 3 times oversubscription, we could price it at 250 basis points above US treasuries.
Okay, all right, got that. I'm going to come back to the pricing of the issue and what's the appetite amongst offshore investors. But just to get that point out of the way, you said after this you might raise another $200 million. That might be through ECBs. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes. There we are already in touch with Bank of Tokyo and also AFLAX.
Okay. And all of this, 470 earlier, 500 this, 200, all of this will come within this financial year, before the end of this financial year?
Yeah.
Okay. Coming back to the pricing, so, can you give us some comparison against similar bonds in the offshore market, say, State Bank of India or the Exim Bank? What are the spreads like?
Well, in case of State Bank of India, when they raised it, it was mid-swap plus 210 basis points, while ours is 230 basis points, and Exim Bank was mid-swap plus 250 basis points. Axis Bank, ICICI and IDBI are at mid-swap plus 260 basis points. So that way, the amount which we could raise is quite close to State Bank of India's issue.
About 30-40 basis points over SBI issue, but tighter than Exim Bank issue.
It is about 20 basis points above SBI issue.
Okay, so what's the, you said this issue got done about 2 times?
No, we had meetings at 3 places. The roadshow was at Singapore, Hong Kong and London, but it was one roadshow, so it was not in 2 phases. It was 3 consecutive working days.
No, I'm saying the issue, the total book got done 2 times, is it? How much you're planning to raise and the monies that you got?
It was oversubscribed.
Right.
No, it was oversubscribed about 3 times.
3 times.
With Asia accounting for 62% of the demands, and PIMCO Singapore which is one of the world's largest investors. They invested $50 million into our bonds.
Which was the largest investor, sir, in this tranche?
PIMCO. PIMCO was 50 million, and another 3 companies were allotted $40 million each, including State Bank of India, Hong Kong.
Okay, all right. Manvi?
Morning, sir. Dr. Pathak, this is Manvi joining in from the Delhi studio. Just wanted to change gears a little bit and talk about the new guidelines for NBFCs from the Reserve Bank of India, which says, you know, that they need to set aside 0.25% for standard assets. There's some confusion on whether or not these new NBFC guidelines on standard assets apply to REC as well. Can you just clarify for us?
Well, I'm yet to study the issue in greater depth, but my preliminary discussions have showed that it doesn't apply to REC. I'm told that it does apply to IDFC, but not to REC.
Okay.
But the exact policy circular of State Bank of the Reserve Bank of India, I have not applied my mind yet.
Okay. By when do you hope to get absolute clarity on this, sir? And, you know, if indeed you find that it does apply, I mean, is there any major impact?
My Director of Finance has said that it does not apply.
Okay.
I will have some discussions with him. Today I am busy in another 3 conferences.
Right.
Which are about efficiency in power sector and investments in power. So maybe I'll be able to discuss with him only when we are free.
Okay. Sir, I know you've got a busy day, so I just want to wrap up this conversation with, you know, a recheck with you on what your targets for this current fiscal are in terms of disbursement, sanctions, and whether or not everything's on track on that front.
Well, we enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Power every year. So the current year, the sanction target is 42,000 crores of rupees with disbursement target of 20,000 crores of rupees. So we have already crossed the sanctions target, and the disbursement target is also met almost to the extent of 85 to 90%.
Okay. So in that sense,
Yeah,
everything...
I must...
Yes, sir.
About our this international bond, I must add 4 things, that this is the first ever foreign currency bond dealt with by an Indian NBFC. Then it is the lowest coupon ever for a benchmark international bond deal by an Indian issuer, and it is the first investment grade benchmark issue from Asia except Japan in the current calendar year.
All right. Sir, just one quick question in terms of profitability. You know, banks are offering loans at pretty competitive rates now. Cost of funds generally is moving up. What's the outlook? You know, you had a spread of about 350 basis points in the first half, I think, of this particular fiscal. Are we likely to see some compression going forward? And how much? Do you foresee that happening?
Yeah, in fact, we increased our interest rates by 25 basis points for generation, although we have kept them low for transmission and distribution, considering the priority that the sector is accorded at present. So even we are increasing interest rates, means we increased interest rates on 6th of January, which will tell on our spread, because our spread, which was at about 330 basis points initially, has come down to about 300. But since everybody's interest rates are going up, I suppose we'll be able to maintain a spread of more than 300 basis points.
Okay, over 300 basis points. Just one last question. Yeah. Will REC going forward, not at this stage, but going forward, do you foresee REC having to create some provisions for bad loans, etc.? I'm talking about, you know, the financial health at state electricity boards primarily. Do you foresee problems on that account?
Not in immediate future, because at present, no state board has ever defaulted on repayment of our loan, because every one of our loan is escrowed, and from the revenue streams of the board, we get almost the first charge apart from their salaries. So the repayment to REC is coming very, very regularly, and our NPA is only 0.03%, which is from some old windmills which were approved many years back and which have become defunct.